It was a warm August morning in 1919. 17-year-old Milton Erickson, a farm boy from rural Wisconsin, opened his eyes to a strange, terrifying feeling. Something wasn't right. He tried to swing his legs over the side of the bed, but nothing moved. Panic set in. His body felt heavy, foreign, paralyzed. What began as weakness in the limbs quickly spread. Within days, the teenager could barely move at all. The doctors came. They examined him carefully, quietly. From the next room, Milton could hear his mother's voice trembling as she asked what could be done. And then, the cold words of one of the specialists pierced the silence. He said, "The boy will be dead by morning." But Milton was listening. They didn't know he was awake, still alive in both body and mind. Still fighting. Trapped in silence, he couldn't scream or even speak. But what he could do was think and act. As his mother walked back into the room, hiding her sorrow behind a brave face, Milton asked her, with great effort, to move the chest of drawers next to his bed. She thought he was delirious, but he wasn't. He was positioning the mirror on top of the dresser, just right. Because if he were going to die, he wanted to die watching the sunset, holding on to the idea that the sun would rise again, just like he might. Then, blackness. A coma. 3 days later, he woke up. He had survived. But the miracle came at a cost. His entire body was now paralyzed. He couldn't move his arms, his legs, even his lips were frozen. His only form of movement? His eyes. Confined to his bed for months on end, unable to communicate, young Milton was forced into a kind of radical stillness most of us will never know. But here's where the story gets fascinating. With nothing but his eyes and his mind, Milton began to observe. Not just casually watch, but observe like a scientist in a lab. Meticulously, obsessively, hungrily. His sisters would talk around him, unaware of how closely he was watching. And one day, he noticed something peculiar. One of them said, "Yeah, that's a good idea." But the tone was flat, and there was a smirk. It didn't sound like she actually meant it. It was a yes that really meant no. Milton had stumbled upon a hidden language, the silent code of human behavior. In the days that followed, he counted 16 different versions of no, just by observing how it was said. A raised eyebrow, a nervous twitch, a forced smile, a flicker in the eyes. He saw one sister say yes, while subtly shaking her head no. Another offered an apple, but her stiff body said she didn't actually want to give it away. Every movement, every breath, every gesture. It was like decoding secret messages. And suddenly, this helpless teenager, locked in his own body, had a new superpower. He was learning to read people in ways most never dream of. Months passed. Then one day, sitting by the window in a custom reclining chair, Milton heard the sounds of his siblings playing outside. He imagined himself joining them, just standing up. And then, he felt it. A twitch. A tiny, almost imperceptible movement in his leg. But it was enough. Milton launched an experiment on himself. Every day, he would focus all his willpower on one muscle. He would remember what it used to feel like. Visualize it moving again. Believe it could. His nurse would massage the area. Slowly, inch by inch, twitch by twitch. He stood. He took a step. And eventually, he walked. This experience changed everything. He had proven, with his own body, that the mind and the body are not separate. They're connected. Deeply. And he wanted to understand that connection better. To master it. So, Milton Erickson became a doctor. A psychologist. But not just any psychologist. At a time when other psychiatrists were focused on talking endlessly about childhoods and dreams, Milton was watching something else. The way people walked. How they breathed. The way their voices cracked or drifted when speaking. To him, words were camouflage. But the body? The body never lies. In one hospital, doctors were baffled by a patient, a once successful businessman who had lost everything in the Great Depression. Now, the man just sat in a chair, crying, moving his arms forward and back, again and again. No one could figure out why. But Milton watched, just for a moment, and he knew. The gesture, it was symbolic. The man was reaching forward, trying desperately to move on. But always pulled back by invisible forces. So Milton gently shifted the motion, turning it upward and downward. "Your life has had many ups and downs," he said. The man paused, intrigued. Soon, Milton handed him sandpaper and wood. The crying stopped. The man started carving again. Creating. He was healing. not through talk therapy, but through motion, through touch, through symbolic physical transformation. As the years passed, Erickson's powers of observation became almost supernatural. He could tell if someone was lying, not by what they said, but how they sat. He could spot an affair from how a woman crossed her legs. He once recognized a transgender woman by the way she avoided brushing over her own chest, a movement too precise, too trained. Another time, a woman came in claiming to fear flying. But Milton stopped her mid-sentence. "Does your husband know about your affair?" he asked. Shocked, she asked how he knew. "The way you said the word abroad. And your posture." Every signal her body gave off betrayed the secret. Milton even learned to influence people's minds by mirroring their breath patterns, matching their rhythm, leading them into a hypnotic trance. He could hear words people mouth without sound. He could tell when his secretary was on her period from the weight of her keystrokes. To the outside world, it looked like magic. But to Milton Erickson, it was science, observation, discipline, and thousands of hours spent decoding the body's hidden language before he became one of the most important figures in psychology. Before he revolutionized hypnotherapy, Milton Erickson was just a teenage boy staring at the sunset through a mirror, willing himself to live. And through silence, stillness, and suffering, he gained a vision few of us will ever see, not with his eyes, but with his mind. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. Have you ever noticed someone's real feelings hidden behind a smile? Until next time, stay curious.